You realize that maybe installation is also maybe now a problem to some individuals, yet maybe I had a different one assumption. I thought everyone can do what can handle. So, given the fact that properly program databases, we shall need, first of all, we shall need a server so that we can make and use our machines as the servers. We're not going to use cloud-based, but we shall use localhost from our machines. But also we shall need to have MySQL as our DBMS to manage our content, our data from our databases. So for that matter, I'm going to request that we go through this kind of installation together, and then I would request that you do the installation of the server. I would guide still on that. What you're going to do, it is going to be in the form of an assignment still. What you do is, it is a simple one, which I believe you have done it before. It is just something that I just need to do to make you so participate. Yeah, so you will install a server or machine. This can be XAMPP, it can be WAMP, it can be SQL Server or anything. Yeah, I would recommend you put SQL Server, but even if you don't put that, you can put the rest, no problem. Now, after that, then we shall have to also now install the DBMS, which is the Mysql what Workbench. Then for us to move well, let me just I'm hoping you are able to see the screen. Let us do it. MySQL Workbench, as you can see, and let us download one together and we'll install it. Then we are able to move. Now I'm using an old kind of OS on this Mac currently that I'm using. So for that matter, these versions may not be compatible with my operating system, this latest. So I will go to archives. Otherwise, if mine now, like for people who are using maybe Windows, yes, there are also various versions, but now it has detected I'm using a Mac OS operating system. That is why it has redirected here, but it has various versions, right? Yeah, so you can specify yours for Windows, but those who are using Mac, I mean, we can, anyone can get their own what? How do you get to know whether it is compatible or not? Sometimes you may not. What you have to do is to try and deport when you install. For example, now I installed this. Why can't we first do it? Look at this. Now let me choose the type of OS. Let me try it. You never know. Okay, and then when I choose the version of my OS as X6, I mean 86 64-bit, then I download this, and I don't want to sign up, so I will say no thanks, just start my download. And then when I instruct it to do that, it will ask me where it wants to save this. I can say maybe, can you put this into this folder here, this folder, maybe this folder called this database, and then I can say MySQL Workbench. Let me put it here. Then I create this folder. Fine, I save it here. As you can see here in the corner, it is doing what? It it is downloading. So let us wait for it to finish, and I know it is not going to take long. Up here in my top right corner, you can see a download moving. It may not be the same depending on your machine, operating system, and browser. But now I'm using Google Chrome on a Mac, so I expect my download to be running from my top right corner. So let us wait for a few minutes as it does what it will finishes the download and see. Hopefully it is done. Uh, not yet. So it is still downloading, as you can see. Mysql Workbench. It is coming. Almost. It is almost there. Then we shall be able to it. Just okay. Yeah. This is I opened this browser of mine. You see, it has been saved where I directed it. So for that matter, I will double click on my what? DMG file. When I double click, the same way, whether you're using Windows or Mac OS, it is the same. Usually for Windows, it is when you download, I think it will probably not I think, but I'm sure it will run the setup. Yeah. Now for Mac, guys, you have to move this into your application, and then it will start doing what? Of course, also you must be seeing it is copying my SQL Workbench to the application folder so that it is fully installed and ready to run on this particular machine. So let's see how it goes. It is version, which version? I think it is 8.0.45. This is 46. Yeah, it is 46. And it is going on my OS, which is x86 64. Let's see how it happens. And once that is done, we shall be in position to open and configure this so that it is able to work with our installed what? With our installed database, which can server, which can be XAMPP, MAMP, or MySQL server. But for these ones, I am going to request each individual to install on their machines. You install our server, which is MySQL server. After that, then you install what we are installing, MySQL Workbench, and then we configure. That will be done. Then we shall be in position now to start writing our what? Our code, given the fact that we shall have both the DBMS as well as our database server locally hosted on our machine, and then the RDBMS that we want to manage this particular database. So we are doing this together and then see how and what happens. It is copying Mysql Workbench to our application folder so that it can become fully installed on this machine, and then we are able to do what? We are able to move on. Yeah. Just taking a little bit longer. Otherwise, once it is done, then we shall be able to confirm if it is a compatible version. If it is, well and good. If it is not, then we shall have to do what? Get another version that can work well with this operating system, and then we shall be good to go. This is latest one, and the OS I'm currently having, I think, is one step back to the latest one. So let's see what happens. Yeah. Meanwhile, you're going to, given the fact that I gave you some assignment to install SQLite, but majority, I don't know what happened because your coordinators usually tells me you're not yet ready, you have challenges with the power, with what. So the excuses are becoming endless and unlimited. So for that matter, now we put that on hold. Actually, not even on hold, but we are dropping that database table. We drop it, don't do it. Let's do what I'm demonstrating right now. Let's install MySQL server, XAMPP, or WAMP, depending on what gives you what base. But I would recommend that we go for what? MySQL server, and then we also install the MySQL Workbench, what we are currently doing. Good. Once this is done, let's see if it has really done what? Been installed. We shall come here. Well, good. Let's open. Let's launch our Mysql Workbench. As you can see, it is launching. It is launching. So, first us to verify for the first time. It is verifying. It is verifying. Uh, So we are going to see how we are able to work with this. Yeah, make sure you have installed MySQL server to act as our server. Then for our DB, then we put this MySQL Workbench as our RDBMS so that we are able to now start working with both. So this workbench, we have to, good, as you can see, it is done with the launching. Now we open. Let's open and see where it takes us. Let us open and see where it takes us. And then great. Here we are. Okay. Now anyway, given the fact that mine already has what? it already has what we call in DB already. It has detected a server. It has detected a server which is already running. That is why it has not brought the configuration bit. But look here, as you can see down here, this is where you go in case it is done. Now, the moment you install it, you will not see what you're seeing down here, this UMO. UMO is a database of its own. I just created 1 DB from my end. Now, but the moment you create a new one, it will not show you this UMO you are seeing down. So you will click on this plus button. The moment you click on the plus button, it will now give you a pop-up window where you have to put the connection name. Like we are configuring this workbench so that we are able, it accesses our server for easy what management of our database. You get, so you click on that plus icon, then you put the connection name. Now on the connection name is where like basically uh, like you may have different databases, right? On the same what? On the same machine. So now here it's where you put now, let's do it together. Let's do it together. We can put a connection name. This has to be an identifier for our server, right? So, and make sure it is unique because you may have very many what? Maybe DBs on your what? On your machine. So we can say uh, maybe let's start and give it we can give it something like maybe school, maybe hospital, depending on which database are you trying to do what to come up with. So now where you see the host name, now that host name by default localhost comes with this port 3306. You get this, the default port for MySQL server. And given the fact that me, I'm running MySQL server on my machine, so I'm going to maintain this port as 3306 because it is the default one for what? For MySQL server. So, and then I will maintain that localhost IP address, which is 127.0.0.1, and then the username will be also maintained as root. And then on the password, where you see password, I would encourage and recommend, please listen carefully on this point. At this point, you click where you see store in keychain. You get. Now, the moment you click on it like this, it will give you a prompt password window where you're supposed to put the password for your preferred, for your what? For your database. You enter your own what? Preferred password. But this password is at a management level, meaning that you make sure you use a password that you can recall, because the moment you forget this password, at times you will not be able to do what? To access your database. You get. So then we have to set a password, something you create your own password. Let me say I'm creating one here, and then I click OK. Now when I click OK, my password has been what? Has been saved. So we now go to test the connection between our MySQL RDBMS and our server, which is the MySQL server or WAMP or XAMPP, depending on what you have done what. So you come here and click on what? Test connection. So when I click on test connection, you see it returns for me dialog with a successful message, successfully made the Mysql what connection. So now our workbench has successfully connected to our DB server. You get. Now for this matter, we click OK, and then we shall proceed and obviously do what? Confirm this, and we press what? Press OK. Now you see down here, this database has also now popped up. Previously we had one which was Umu, but now we have even hospital. It is also down here. You get. So, and now this confirms that our workstation, our Mysql Workbench has successfully connected with our local server, our database server, which is the Mysql server in my case. You get? So that is how we do it. Now, at the end of this particular video, I'm going to request each and every member of our team to go and download XAMPP or WAMP or Mysql server on your machines. After, then you come and download Mysql Workbench, and then after the download and installation, go ahead and configure the way we have done it so that we are able to establish a connection. For now, I will say bye, and in case of any question like I've been singing this, just go ahead and add a comment either on YouTube or in our Moodle where this video is. I will be in a position to respond to all queries without any what hesitation. So for now, allow me to terminate and then access this in Moodle, YouTube, and everywhere. Bye for now. But make sure you install and share the screenshots as guided, please. Bye bye.